So this is the first and what we hope will continue to be a long series where we interview sellers about the particular sites they're selling with us, and we discuss how they built the site, their process for niche selection, their experience in building sites, and we'll talk specifically more about the site that's actually for sale. And our hope is that this will help you as a buyer better understand what it is you're getting into, the opportunities, the risks involved, etc. So today I'm pleased to welcome Ben onto the program. Ben, thanks so much for being on, man.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's talk a little bit about your background in building and selling sites and kind of how you came to be in this industry to start.
So first, maybe about 2 years ago, I started building AdSense sites. I scaled them for a while. I had a little bit of success, and then there was the whole EMD update. It kind of wiped them out completely. That kind of killed my motivation for about a year. And then I read about Spencer's survival knife site. That's kind of when I got back into it. I kind of realized, oh, maybe it does still work. So my website is in a similar kind of style. Maybe a bit more care has gone into it in the design, and all the content was written by myself as well. It took a very long time. So yeah, that's kind of my background. Also, I've been into SEO for a very long time as well.
So you got your start with AdSense sites, which is very similar to our story. And then you'd seen some success with Amazon with Spencer over at Niche Pursuits, and you decided to try your hand at Amazon. Had you had any experience building Amazon sites before that?
No, my first Amazon site and turned to gold, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually had a really meteoric rise to success in a short period of time. We're going to talk about that in a bit. So you've tried AdSense, you've tried Amazon. Have you tried lead gen? Have you ever built e-commerce sites, or do you have an experience there?
No, but I mean, I'd love to in the future. I'm pretty confident in my SEO skills. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to try expand a bit rather than just stick to one method.
How did you get into SEO, Ben?
To be honest, even as a teenager, I was kind of always interested in building websites, and then if you're building websites, you want them to appear in Google, you want people to actually visit them. That's when I always started reading about SEO. So I've been learning for a long time, but only, I don't know, maybe only in the past year or two, I actually became, quite good at it.
Let's move into niche selection a bit. Why did you choose this niche, the fitness equipment niche? Why this niche particularly?
It's quite funny, really. I mean, it's not that I have a huge passion about this niche. I mean, I'm into my fitness, but not this kind of particular product. So really, I just did a lot of keyword research. I was analyzing absolutely hundreds of keywords. I was looking for three things. I was looking for a decent search volume, a high product price. That's why I went for it, really. It's just kind of just based on the figures, not passion or anything, although I did do a lot of research when I wrote the content.
So talking about the product, it is a higher priced product, and I've seen kind of arguments talking about, have a bunch of lower priced products on Amazon to kind of boost your commission percentage.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a higher priced product, so someone that already has some Amazon experience might be getting a higher percentage. What percentage are you at on Amazon right now with this website?
Normally, it's about 7 or 7.5, and actually in February, I was literally one product sale off the 8%, so that cost me an extra like $500 in earnings. So yeah, somebody that sells more products, if the products are quite high priced and you've got a high commission rate, then yeah, it's going to increase your earnings for sure.
What percentage of the Amazon buyers are actually buying products that are in or related to your niche? I mean, are they going to Amazon and then buying, watches and electronics, or are they actually buying the equipment?
You see some funny things that people buy. Of course, the bulk of the earnings come from buying the fitness equipment because it's high priced. But I mean, you get some strange things. Like someone bought like a $3,000 TV I noticed before. You make money from other little products too.
It's one of the advantages of Amazon, but it's also the disadvantage in that you have such a short cookie life, right? So if they're going to buy, they better buy now, I think.
Yeah.
Let's move in a little bit to, actually, let me ask you one more question about niche selection. Why did you stick with Amazon? It seems like with your site, there would have been an opportunity to become an affiliate for specific brands. Why did you stick with the Amazon route?
That's quite a good question, because I did receive a couple of emails from manufacturers of the equipment. They were kind of asking me, why is our product not on your website? It's really good. I don't know, because it was doing so well and I wasn't confident these products would sell, I didn't actually take it up. But of course, there's an opportunity there if the buyer thinks that could be worthwhile.
It's interesting. I actually know where you're coming from. You're like, I don't want to mess with something that's working, right? I mean, like it's working and you know that people convert at Amazon, where if you send them off to some other particular manufacturer, who knows how well they're set up for conversions or whether people would buy their products.
One thing as well, sorry, is this particular product, I couldn't really find any reviews about it on the internet. So the only people that were saying, oh, this is a really good product was the manufacturer. Whereas with Amazon, you've got loads and loads of product reviews, loads of people saying, oh yeah, this is 5 stars, this is great, you should buy this. So maybe it's easier to sell with Amazon. I'm not sure.
You could go, I mean, obviously another route you could take would be like the drop shipping route, or eventually even, manufacturing your own product, although that would be, there's more opportunity there, obviously, but it's quite a bit more complicated, too, than I think.
One way that could be possible is because the website actually ranks above the biggest manufacturer for this product, or the most popular manufacturer, so the fact it's doing that probably leaves a lot of opportunity.
So let's move into the next section. Why are you choosing to sell your site instead of keeping it right now?
Yeah, purely for capital. I mean, right now I have a lot of ideas and I really want to kind of scale. Now I've had first real success. Not only build more websites, also I do provide some SEO services as well. And I kind of want to turn that into a kind of full SEO business, and then also at the same time keep building more sites. But to do that I need to outsource, and that costs money.
I know that you were putting quite a bit more time and effort and energy into your SEO company, and that's a focus of yours. So I understand kind of the time commitment. One of the concerns that potential buyers may have, though, is that you're not going to immediately turn around and start competing with them on the same products and the same niche. What is the capital investment for, and would you build out any sites that are in the same or a very similar niche in the future?
No way I would do that. I think that's a pretty horrible thing to do. So, and also there's just no needs. I mean, there's so many different niches out there. I see myself as quite good with keyword research, so I've got a big list of keywords that I want to go for, and I don't need to go for the same one.
All right, we're going to get more into the competing with it after the fact a little later, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about site history. So when was the site built?
It was built it was actually 1st of July, the first day I registered and started building it.
And how did it work out the first couple of weeks, first couple of months? What was the kind of trajectory of the site?
So the first couple of weeks was just all about, actually I really liked kind of the whole design phase. I probably got a bit kind of stuck trying to make it look beautiful, which is really not necessary at first. But then I was adding the content, and probably around a month later I started building some backlinks to it. It was about 1.5 months later that I got the first sale.
So you're about 6 weeks in when you got the first sale. How many pages of content did you launch with?
Maybe not much more than 5, 6, or 7, I think so.
Okay, and then you added content to that over time.
Actually kept adding, yeah.
Okay, and so about 6 weeks in, you had your first sale. That must have been exciting. You're like, okay, it's kind of working. Someone's buying stuff. We're heading in the right direction. When did you realize it was a winner, that this was something that was going to take off?
Yeah, when I first built it, I never ever expected it, to be as successful as it was. It was just the hope phase. I didn't believe at that stage. But then when it sold, made its first sale. Yeah, that was when I kind of thought, oh, maybe this does actually work. And then when it started making a few hundred a month, I thought that was great. And then obviously it took off further from there.
Okay, so I know that you said you spent some time trying to make it look good in the beginning and really kind of make the layout impressive. What did you do that didn't work so well?
As you can see on the listing, the October earnings were horrible. That I believe is because it was hit by the over-optimization penalty, which would have been because I think my keyword density was just a little bit too high. So right now less really is more. So all I did to resolve that was reduce the density for all my pages for any like 2 or 3 length keywords. And then after that, the rankings came back, and it's been fine ever since. So that's one thing that didn't work.
So you think your on-site keywords were a little, you were landed on a little thick. You had to back off a little bit on mentioning particular keywords. Okay, what did work? What do you think really helped with your organic rankings? So that seems to be a big win for the site.
High quality backlinks. That's really the only thing I can say.
Let's talk about your backlink profile. When did you start building out backlinks, and where did you source the links from?
So I started building out around August, but very gradually. The backlinks all from my own network. I already had my own network from when I was building AdSense sites. I kind of just kept it going. I was still paying for the hosting. That's where they came from, and they were still pretty authoritative, so I think that's why it worked.
How important do you think the site retains those links from your current blog network?
Completely important, and I will definitely leave them in place.
Okay, why do you think the site built up so much momentum in such a short time? I mean, less than a year, it got to over $5,000 a month in net profit. That's not typical for most of the sites we see. Why do you think it worked in this case?
Yeah, to be honest, just because I think I got my keyword research done quite well. I think obviously the competition was quite low. If you look at the SERP, you can see kind of other little niche sites also in there. I think that's always a good sign that you can rank. And then combined with powerful backlinks, backlinks your competition can't really compete with, it's always going to be successful.
Are your backlinks the private blog network that you have that you're linking to the site for? How many links are we talking about?
Not many at all. I actually had a look yesterday, and it's just 22 backlinks.
Okay. Are these related sites, or are they just, high authority, high page rank sites?
I think there's a couple of related ones, but the majority are just high authority, high page authority, and that seems to be quite important.
All right, so that gives us a pretty good kind of overview of the site history. Let's move into the traffic and earnings. Can you give me an idea as to the breakdown on organic versus referral versus direct versus paid versus social? First off, do you have any paid traffic to the site?
No paid traffic. Yes, when I look in Google Analytics, it's almost 90% organic. It says there is some direct traffic, so I'm not really sure. Maybe people do come back to the site and typing in the URL. It's a branded domain name, so that's possible. But yeah, pretty much all organic.
So when did you break the $1,000 a month mark? What month was that?
I think it was maybe January. Let me just double check. Yeah, it was January. Actually, it shot up from 797 in December to 4,988 in January.
Okay, so you saw a big jump from December to January. Because it is in the fitness or equipment kind of industry, there's a guess in my mind that might be related to New Year's resolutions and people trying to get, in better shape. Do you think it is a seasonal niche?
I don't think so. I've had a look at the traffic for all the months of the year. There's not like a huge jump around New Year's resolution time, maybe a little, but I mean, if you look at the earnings, January, February and March, February and March were actually even better than January, so I think it's pretty consistent. I think people buy this product year round, so it's okay.
I think you might have honestly missed an opportunity for, like November, December, heading into the holidays. I think there might have been some purchases there. I think you didn't have the rankings at that time, or you weren't as well ranked at that time to kind of capture that traffic and those purchases. So you might have missed an opportunity there, and it really is just probably because you started the site in July, right? I mean, there's only so much time to get it up. Let's head into some of the opportunities you see for the site. So if you were going to keep the site, what are the top 2 things you would focus on growing out this website and business?
The first thing would be, firstly, to rank existing content. I've actually made no real effort at all to rank any of the inner pages, but there's some serious potential there. For example, one particular product, I know people really do search for reviews of this product. If you could rank that page, build some backlinks to it, you would definitely bring in some more traffic and, of course, some more sales. And also creating new content and ranking that, the same thing, you'd bring in more traffic, and that only would lead to an increase in income. And then as well, I'm not an expert at all on social media, so if somebody who buys this knows anything about social media marketing or hires someone to do that. That could also be a big opportunity.
I actually know a guy who is, and in a related niche, he's got, I think, over 100,000 fans on his Facebook page. He's built up an email list of around 10,000, and he actually made a business out of this Facebook page. I think he has an associated website, but all the traffic's via Facebook, and it's in a related niche. So I think there is some opportunity for social, especially in this niche or industry that you're in. I think there's some opportunity there. So your two biggest were, I think, though, adding content and then optimizing around keywords for that content for reviews and other similar industry-related keywords that are being searched for. If you were going to, I guess my next question, that kind of answers it, but if you were looking for just kind of stable growth, like if you were looking to grow the site or business by 15, 20% over the next year, I think that might be a good approach, is adding the content and then trying to optimize current content with nice quality backlinks, and then on-site SEO for the new content you create. If you were going to get risky, though, if you're going to go crazy and you want to grow this, you want to double this business in the next year or two, what opportunities would you take to do that?
I don't know. In terms of a big risk, I'm not sure I would personally really take any big risks. Maybe some people building websites might do something like build loads of spammy IM links to pages on their site. Maybe that would work temporarily, but it's really not worth it in the long term. I would only try and build high quality, just a handful of links. Don't go crazy. No exact match anchors, nothing like that. And keep your keyword density low, reasonable, so you don't trigger any penalties.
Well, I'll mention one of the things that I think would be a bit riskier, and it's riskier than you've taken, would be, to contact some of the manufacturers directly and offer those products directly aside from Amazon. I'd say that's a bit risky because now you don't have kind of the backing of Amazon. You're going on it alone. You could also do something where you get into like drop shipping, so you're actually shipping the product from yourself, and that may turn into eventually manufacturing. Now that's significantly different than the approach or the kind of the path the site is on now, and it may screw up your earnings in the short term. But I think there's some possibility or some opportunity there for this particular site to actually head in that direction. You didn't want to do it, and I don't know if I would do it, but I think for someone that was interested, they might be able to. Let's move into risks a little bit and talk a little bit about what you think the risks are. What do you think are the biggest risks if you were looking to purchase the site? What should a buyer beware of?
It's receiving nearly all of its traffic from Google right now, and as we all know, Google likes to release updates every now and then. So, any website is always at a small risk, at least, from a Google update. Even completely white hat websites, we know they also get hit. I think the way I've built mine, there's not any obvious ways that would trigger any penalty right now, because I haven't used exact match anchor text in my backlinks, and also, like I said, the keyword density is very low. It's not really obvious to Google that I'm really trying to target certain keywords. That would be the biggest risk, but I feel it's pretty safe right now.
One of the things we talked about, and this is via email, but I mentioned that your site to me seems kind of like a niche site on steroids, but fairly limited in its monetization diversity. So, we're looking just at Amazon earnings, like, heavily Amazon earnings. So it's not like, I'd say, a full-on business where it's very built out. Your traffic source is organic, which I think is a bit more risky than having diversified traffic. And then you have one monetization method, which is Amazon. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not opportunities for others, and for traffic, I would look at social, potentially paid if you went the drop shipping route. I think even paid traffic would work, but definitely getting in some social traffic, I think, could be effective as well. Another concern I think buyers might have is the length of time the site's been up and earning. It was only started in July, and it's only been earning well since December or January, so that's only been 4 to 5 months. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yes, I guess it's not a huge amount of time, but then again, I've seen many sites that are perhaps they only stick around for 2 or 3 months. Sometimes you see sites go straight to the top of Google, they're doing well, and then they've gone just like that. I would say in terms of a niche site, it's actually a fairly long amount of time, and it's been very stable for the past 3 months or so, ranking #1 for two very strong keywords.
All right, so let's basically, the organic rankings are what's driving the traffic right now. We talked about that and the monetization, the singular monetization strategy being a bit of a risk, and I think there's opportunity there to, turn those around and add different, both traffic streams and monetization methods. Let's move into a bit more information or additional information and talk a little bit about, what you're willing to do with this deal. The first thing is that sometimes sellers, and I talked to a guy not that long ago named Tafa who sold a site for, I think it was around $40,000, and the site ended up going to double or triple what it was worth, and he felt kind of bad about selling it. Is that something that you're open to? Would you want to retain equity for a discount on the deal? Would you be willing to keep 10% of the site or something like that, or no?
Yeah, wow, that's quite an interesting case. I'm not sure at the moment. Maybe if somebody had a particular good plan moving forward, maybe somebody who, like I said earlier, is very good with social media marketing, something that isn't my strong point, then possibly, yeah, if somebody has an interesting idea.
Okay, and I think also the fact that, you've got some SEO background and experience, they may be able to, retain your services for some percentage of the deal if they're willing to come up with something that works. Would you, as a secondary, would you be open to an earnout? And how earnouts work would be, let's say that I gave you 50% up front and 50% over the next 6 months, for example, based on the success of the site hitting certain metrics. Maybe you get less if it earns less, you get more if it earns more, something like that. Would you be open to that?
Yeah, again, I think it's possible. If I'd have to kind of look at the particular deal in more detail. If I think that's worthwhile, then yeah, maybe.
Okay, yeah, it's always a maybe, right? Depends on the deal and kind of where it's coming from. Here's one I think that is important for buyers. I'm not exactly sure why, but some buyers will ask about a non-compete, right? And so they want to make sure that you're not going to compete on the same keywords in the same niche, and would ask you to sign off on a non-compete. Now, be clear, to buyers that are listening, when you're dealing with international businesses, I mean, you're in Ho Chi Minh City, you're from the UK, we have an American corporation, it's very international. So a non-compete is only as important as it is enforceable, right? So if you're not able to enforce it across seas and across countries, then it doesn't matter all that much. But would you be willing to sign a non-compete specific to the niche and for a set period of time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm totally willing to, for any future buyer, just to keep dominating that niche, ethical for me to try and to sell the website and try and then beat it in the rankings. No, it's not something I would ever consider doing, so I'm more than happy to sign that.
Well, let me ask you this too. How much support are you willing to offer a potential buyer? That's one of their concerns, is they want to, if they purchase the site, they want to make sure that it's not like, here you go, good luck with it. You'd mentioned that you're willing to do a month's worth of email and 2 one-hour phone calls.
Yep.
What areas do you think you could really help someone that's buying the site out with if they have questions or concerns about growth strategies?
Yeah, so for email support, yeah, they can ask me about anything, whether it's getting the site all set up with affiliate details, obviously the hosting, that kind of thing, and then also I'd be willing to, if they have any ideas they'd like me to think about and get my opinion on. That's no problem. And yeah, same for the phone call. And also, if something drastically went wrong with the website and it's after that 30 days, I'd be more than willing to help, providing the buyer didn't do something crazy that destroyed its rankings. Yeah.
All right, Ben. So let's kind of start wrapping this up. So you've got a website for sale. It's in the fitness industry. It's making just under $6,000 a month right now in net profit. It is an Amazon site. It's mostly organic traffic. It has really good rankings for some key terms. Can you give me kind of your best pitch, your best argument on why someone should buy this site and why it's a good deal?
Yeah, so somebody should buy it because it's already making a very, very nice passive income, but there is so much more potential. Right now, most of the traffic comes to the home page. It's really just living off that. If somebody with experience with social media marketing or somebody wants to add more content, there's far more potential. I really think it could grow over time.
Awesome, Ben. Well, I appreciate your taking the time to kind of go through this site and your history with the site, man. I'm sure it'll be really helpful for potential buyers and for our listeners. If anyone has any questions about the site, you can check it out at empireflippers.com/marketplace. We list a bunch of different websites and businesses for sale there, and we'd love for you to check it out and check out this fitness site, earning nearly $6,000 a month in net profit per month. Anyway, thanks so much for being on, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you.